He is a full-time golfer, and I still think he runs Miami. I say he'll build Dwayne Wade's statue. His Instagram, your IG page, D, right? As you say, Good Morning to You was a movie. And you had us all jealous out here on the West Coast as Dorell Wright joins us on the River Islands guest line. All guests on 95.7 The Game appear on the River Islands guest line. Is it a time for you to discover the islands, River Islands, and Lathrop? Dorell, we're looking forward to you coming back to the Bay and helping out on some shows on Warriors pre- and post-game on NBC Sports Bay Area. And you are getting your golf game out there, man. I am jealous of your life, man. What's going on, D? Right? Long time no talk.
What's up, fellas, man? Thanks for having me, man. It's always good to, come holler at my guys, man. Everything good, man, in SoCal. Everything is on the right path right now.
Absolutely. I know the Dodgers got the parade. They doing that. Even though the Rams lost. I know you're not a Rams fan, but the Cowboys, you won't talk much football today. I know
please,
that.
Yeah, please.
We'll leave that alone. Let's start with Klay, because you were on the Warrior squad when Klay was a rookie. Mm-hmm. And as we were going to talk to Zaza and Fezzi later on today about different stages of Klay's career, when you first met Klay, the stories I heard was like he just didn't talk. He didn't know who he was. So can you explain kind of like when you first met Klay and what those first few months were like when Klay was entering the NBA as a rookie coming out of Washington State?
Man, fellas, you talking about just a mute. Klay said nothing ever. And but he was always funny. He was one of those guys that whenever something came out of his mouth, it was funny. And, the one thing that, in the locker room, when you walk in the locker room, you're supposed to speak to everybody. Klay would get there probably 10, 15 minutes before practice, beeline right to his locker and won't say nothing to anybody. Me being a vet, I used to be like, damn, young fella, like, good morning. And he'd be like, oh, hey, what's up, guys? So, but just a stand-up guy, man, had an opportunity to work out with him almost every single day when we did our individual work. And I seen it from day one, just a sharpshooter. And I knew that he'd have a long, successful career in this league just because the work that he put in. And, he was just about his business. He wasn't with no BS, none of the unmature, none of that stuff. He came straight in, mature, and acting like a pro from day one.
What was he like? Because we've talked so much about the Monta trade, What was he like after the Monta trade when he now gets an elevated role?
Yeah, I think he was the same. He was the same person. Even before Monta got traded, Klay was still him. He still takes the shots that he took. And I think once Monta, went on, he just got a little more aggressive. He got a little more comfortable in that starting lineup. And like I said, he was born to be a professional basketball player because it felt like as soon as he got into that starting role, he just went into who he is today. So from day one, I felt like he was mature enough to understand what he had to do to be successful.
D. Wright, are you surprised when he was in his prime, man, he could lock down anybody? I mean, he had to defend guys like Damian Lillard, Donovan Mitchell, James Harden, Kyrie, all the top guys helping out Steph Curry on the defensive end. When you first got to meet Klay, and we knew he was a sharpshooter, he would shoot that thing and he'll light it up for the three-point line. Did you think at an early stage that, boy, this guy can be one of the best two-way players in the NBA?
Never thought that in my day because you just seen the offensive game was just off the charts. The 3-point shooting, the getting to my space and raising over the defense. And also the athleticism. He had that sneaky bounce. So really never even paid attention to the defense. I knew he was always in the right spots. He understood the defensive schemes, but I felt like as his career went on, he got better and better on the defensive end and became one of those guys that you can depend on to go down and slow down the other team's best players. So I think over time he got much better at that, but never thought he'd be the two-way guy. Never thought he'd be the two-way guy that, we all know today.
All right, so when you're the older guy on a team with a bunch of young guys, there's almost like this obligation to kind of go through some of the rituals away from the game, and get to know everybody. What was he like away from the game? Like, what was he like when he wasn't playing basketball? Because so much is focused on basketball, and that's the beauty of Klay Thompson. But do you have any little nuggy nugs from you being the elder statesman and taking some of those young bucks out?
Oh, yeah. One thing about Klay, he was quiet, but he always met downstairs when it was time to go hang out and go to dinner or a club for sure. And I've caught Klay plenty of times when we were out having a great time. So that was always good to see, especially someone like Klay that really didn't talk as much as he did, as he does today, but he always had a good time. So he always separated. He wasn't one of those guys who was like, basketball is life. That's all I think about, eat, sleep. So one thing about Klay, man, we had a great time. And it's cool to hear Klay talk when I hear him on a podcast or, we come to our L.A. Hometown Favorites camp and talk to the kids, and he just always brings up my name about how I helped him. And, I just always be myself and, try to give the young bucks as much advice as I can. And it sounds good when you hear Klay always mentioning those times when he felt like I was looking out for him or just being a good vet, man.
Dorell Wright here on the River Islands guest line on Omar LaRosa on 95.7 The Game. Our brother from another mother will be joining us on Warriors pre- and post-game coming up during the holidays. And so you obviously won a championship with the Miami Heat, Shaq and D-Wade, and you learned a lot from Shaq, and you and D-Wade are still tight. You guys are still tight to this day. And to hear Klay Thompson, guys, and I hear this from a lot of young players, like D. Wright was a great mentor. You get a lot of respect in this league. Can you speak to what Klay told your team? Because we talked a little bit. I saw that Klay Thompson spoke to your hometown's favorite crew, and it seemed like he's just in a great place right now. Did you sense that too this offseason?
Yeah, I definitely did. I just felt like he is at that spot right now where he just wants to prove people wrong, And I went through this in my career when I went to Europe, and I just wondered, I still have so much left, and I feel like a lot of people probably doubted what I had left. Mm-hmm. So when you get that new start, it's like, man, I could finally show you guys what I've been talking about. It's probably been so frustrating, for me to say it verbally, but my actions getting ready to show you that I'm still, who I am. So I feel like that's what Klay is going through right now. And he got off to an amazing start in the season. I think the last 2 games he didn't shoot the ball extremely well, but, still only 10 games in. But I felt like that was kind of like the person that I saw. And I even asked him, how you feel, man? Like, what you think? And I think the biggest thing for him is just like it's a restart. I get to kind of build my legacy with a different team. And, I need it. We saw them in the finals, the roles players and those 3-point shooters not being able to make open shots for Kyrie and Luka. And you put a Klay Thompson with those guys, man, in the playoff game, I guarantee you Klay Thompson's going to make a lot of shots.
What was it like for your first time going back to Miami? I know it's a little different.
Yeah.
But like, I'm just trying to, I can't even imagine what Klay's going to be going through. So what was it like for you?
For me, it was a little bit different. Obviously we did win a championship. I did spend 6 years there. It was amazing, just all the love that I got as soon as I walked into the arena from, the people that work behind the scenes, the people that you really have those conversations with every day. When you start seeing those faces and, seeing them smiles and them happy for you, for your new role with a new team. And then you get to the court and it's just like, man, you get so nervous. You're so excited. You just want to do well. And I tell a lot of people all the time, because, my first game back in Miami, I had 30. Just a little quick humble brag. I had 30 of them things. And I always tell people, when you go back to your old team or somewhere where, either you lived at, you either play your best game of your life or you play your worst game. There's no in between. Right. You either play really, really good or really, really bad. So it was pretty special for me to go back to Miami. The people that drafted me saw me grow up as an 18-year-old kid and, drop 30 on them.
You think Klay's downplaying this return? We saw the post game. I think it's just they lost to Denver 122-120. It's right after a game. He's probably not thinking about it. He's saying, "Hey, man, it's just another game in November." But deep down inside, knowing Klay the way you do, D, right? This is just not another game, right? He's going to be emotional on the inside, right?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Even that game, he came back from the 2 years removed, and it's going to be. I feel like that same type of energy, man. Just being back somewhere that you spent so much time, you got so much history, you basically helped change the franchise. Yeah, it's not gonna be another game. I know Klay is just trying to keep his nerves and his cool right now, but he's gonna be so excited to get back there, and he's gonna try to go at them boys. We all know what Klay is about to be on, and I really think he's gonna be so excited and so nervous at the same time, where he just wants that ball to get tossed in the air so he could kind of relieve himself and, feel good about himself.
I don't know how he feels currently, but I know that I would be a little jaded if I was in his situation. Just there's so much baked into it. There's my own injuries, which I can't control. I've been busting my butt to try to come back. I'm trying to adjust to a new role. The finances that are just out there in the league right now. What I think that I've earned with my current organization, what they viewed me as, where I'm at now, the role they had for me. Like, I mean, I'm just naming 50 things here, and I'm trying to balance it all out. For you, how do you compartmentalize this as a player? So many emotions and so many layers to this. And like, I think a lot of people are like, oh, is Klay always going to feel a certain way toward the Warriors, whatever? Just speak on your own beliefs. Cause I'm sure everyone who leaves any situations, you kind of feel like I got to prove it to them. How did you get over that? Or do you ever get over those things?
Yeah, no, you never get over it. Shoot, I have, my closest friend who is the franchise player, leads in every stat, got a statue, got his number retired, Hall of Fame. But you better believe D Wade is, pretty pissed still to this day that he ever had to leave Miami. I'm still pissed that, spending 6 years in Miami, I thought I was going to be there my whole career. It just means a little bit more when you can finish your career in one place, especially when you've done so much for the organization, for the city, for the community. You want to end your career there because that's home. You've adjusted, you call that home. We all know Klay, being around the Bay, taking the boat out, just all the things that he did, that was his comfort zone. So now he's basically out of his comfort zone being in Dallas. So yeah, you just, it never goes away. You always want to stay in that one place the rest of your career, your whole career. So I'm pretty sure it's going to take a long time for Klay to get over that.
And on the flip side here, the Warriors are playing well, 8-2 to start the season. Buddy Buckets is balling. D'Anthony Melton is back. Steph is Steph. Draymond's having a hell of a start to the season. How do you think Steph and Dre are entering this game? Because that was their brother. The big three, was the big four with Kevin Durant, but then the big three with Klay, Steph, and Dre, and they helped build this thing, basically built this organization. How are they entering this game? How do you think they are, like seeing their former teammate in another uniform who they thought they were going to end their careers together with after they had 11-30-23 day last season, D, right?
Yeah, it's going to be a little weird for those guys because, the history and what they've done together, and now you're just my opponent, like what? So I think it's going to be a crazy game for those two guys as well. They're going to come out trying to fire and try to get at their boy, get in their bags and talk their mess. So I think for them as well, it's going to be one of those like playoff atmospheres because they're going to be so juiced up and so excited about the challenge, playing their old boys. So the competitive nature never goes anywhere when you're playing against your guys. You want to beat the mess out of them. You want to, have your best game. So I think Dre is coming out on a million.
Yeah.
I think Steph is going to be Steph, but I think Draymond for sure. I got them two getting chest to chest a little bit. A little friendly fire.
I think so, too. We were playing the matchups here, and obviously if Wiggins plays, he's going to guard Luka to start.
Yeah.
D'Anthony Melton's probably going to guard Kyrie. Gafford's going to probably be guarded by TJD or Looney, whoever starts there at the 5. And you got to think Dre or Steph are going to get the assignment on Klay Thompson to start.
Yep. Yeah, I like that. I like that, man. There's nothing like going against one of your guys, all their moves, what they love to do. Makes it just a little bit easier for you as a defender and on offense to, kind of get to your spot or cut something off or take something away. So, yeah, that's going to be a great matchup. And we all know you can't leave Klay Thompson open, man. There's going to be a layup. So it's going to be interesting to see the scouting report. And it's also going to be interesting to see the things that the Dallas Mavericks do because the coach knows, the players, they all want you to win. That was one of the things when you went back to one of your old teams, your whole crew kind of rallies around you like, man, we got to get this win for Klay. We got to get this win for, this guy. So they're going to be feeding them and trying to get them open shots, probably even, start the game off with a play for Klay, kind of break the ice and feel good about itself.
When one door closes, another one opens for someone else, maybe even. Like I'm looking at the opportunity now that Buddy Hield has had here as someone that's, played in various locations and taken advantage of said opportunities. What do you think that you've seen from Buddy Hield and how do you think he's feeling right now? Because, boy, he's been phenomenal.
Man, listen, systems matters, teams matters, coaching matters, all that stuff matters. And I feel like Buddy Hield is finally in a spot where he's getting held accountable. He's getting that played the style that we seen him at Oklahoma. Because Buddy, he was doing all this stuff at Oklahoma, coming off down screens, playing with the ball a little bit. So I feel like he's getting back to that role when he was in Oklahoma, getting buckets. So he looks really, really good in the system. And I could see him being one of the guys deep down this season to help him, get over, in that playoff run against the team, because he's shooting the ball lights out. We all know he's a great shooter, but he's a little more than just a great shooter. So I really, really have been enjoying watching Buddy Hield in this system.
I can't believe I'm blown away by him. I didn't know he had the bag that he had going to the cup and dunking and moving around here. D. Wright, overall, how you feeling about this Warriors team? 8-2 start. Beat Boston. They're obviously no Jaylen Brown. They beat OKC. Chet gets hurt in that one, but up 30 against Oklahoma City in Oklahoma City. That's impressive, nevertheless.
Yep.
How are you feeling about this Warriors team 10 games in?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm really digging the team. I love how they fly around on defense. That's the one thing that's really standing out. It's two things that's standing out. The defense, they're flying around. They're using their length. They're covering ground. They're protecting the paint. They're running guys off three-point line. But also, it's not one of those years where Steph Curry got to score 40 to get a win by 5. Mm-hmm. They're getting guys all around, contributing. I love JK still. I'm still high on JK. I want him just to be consistent and just play at a high level. But I really like this team. Melton, that's a hometown favorite right there. He brought me a Drew League championship 2 years ago. So, that's an L.A. guy. That's my guy. So I just really like this team. Before the season started, you see some of the names. You don't think those guys can really, play at a high level. But I felt like those were great glue guys, adding Milton and Hill and those type of guys. So I really enjoy this team. And then you got the young bucks finally getting their opportunity. So, man, I really feel like this team is going to make some noise the rest of the year for sure.
You've been on the JK train from day one, the day of the draft. I'll never forget you came to the studio, said they need to get JK. And Shasky and I hopped on the bandwagon there. He's playing well in this role, playing really, really good basketball. So showing some maturity there. Warriors are 8-2. Dallas trying to get off the snide. Here on Klay Day, the first game of the Emirates NBA Cup. Do you right? The golf game looks good too, man. Shasky's over here jealous. He's looking at all your videos right now.
Yeah, man, I think it's just I got too much free time right now. Thank God the season is back in. I got my handicap all the way down to a 9 in the last few months. So, I've been playing some golf, man. So I'm excited about my game and finally launching my brand with D-Wade Ace Golf members only. So watch out for that during Art Basel. We'll be launching.
Dorell, just to let you know, I'm a large, and
for sure.
I
make sure I lace you up, man.
I'll tag it on IG, although I don't have the following you have. Some may say I am an influencer.
Yeah, for sure. I got you. I'll make sure I lace you up, send you a hat and everything down there.
Let's go.
D-Ray, when you back with us, man? You coming back later this month, right?
I think I will be there in 10 days. Yes, I'll be there on the 22nd.
Nice.
Can't wait. Can't wait to have you back, part of the crew,
it's
man.
It's a packed day for me that day.
Yeah. I'm sure you'll make some time to kind of.
Well, I've got the Reardon Alumni Luncheon that I'm hosting, and then I've got confirmation from my nephew.
You have no idea. The last 2 years, this guy's the most popular guy in the Bay Area, man. He's busy.
Oh, really? He's running things?
Hey, dude, I can't even book a lunch with this guy.
Finish off.
I can't even book a lunch with this guy.
Busy.
Yeah, it's like, well, I got 30 minutes here, Bonta. I don't have time for you. It's like, damn, man. This should be my brother. Man.
I work cheap.
D. Wright. We'll talk to you soon, brother.
Good hearing your voice, man.
Hey, we didn't get no baseball talk, so hurry up and hang the phone up. We need to hear you,
man. It's all good. Go Dodgers, baby. Thank you, fellas.
All
right, D. Wright. Our brother from another mother, Dorell Wright, here on the River Islands guest line. Always fun talking to him, man. Well, let's bring in our main man, Warriors pre and post. He's an NBA champ. He's my big man. He's one of the best dudes I know out there on and off the TV screen. It's Festus Ezeli joining us on the River Islands guest line, and all guests on 95.7 The Game appear on the River Islands guest line. Isn't it time for you to discover the islands, River Islands, and Lathrop? Good morning, my good brother, and I'm surprised you're up so early, 8:30 in the morning. Maybe you go take a nap afterwards, but Fezzy fell. You've been waiting for this day. Good morning, man.
Come on, what's up, Bonta? Good morning, man. Good morning to my point guard, Shasky. What's good? I'm up early every day, right? I'm in the gym early.
I know. You've been listening.
Early? I want to know.
He's been listening a lot to the show. He's been giving us pointers, man.
What constitutes as early in your world?
Me, I'm up at 6 every day. But today I was up at 5. I'm hyped up right now.
I would love
I'm
to
hyped
sleep
up.
until 6.
Come on.
That's like sleeping until noon for us, Fezzi.
God, I would love that. I'm so
man,
jealous.
waking up at 6 in the morning is
So
paradise,
jealous.
man.
If I had a radio show to do at 6 o'clock in the morning, I'd be up too. But nah, for what I need to do, 6 is just fine.
So you circled this date. You've been waiting for this date. It's the first game of the Emirates NBA Cup, which we're having some fun with here. But it's the return to Klay Thompson, man, and it's going to be so strange to see him at Chase Center in a different uniform. It still hasn't hit me yet, Fezzi.
Man, it's really crazy. I'm really excited. I'm strangely nervous. I'm anxious because I want to get to this game already. Obviously, the whole reason why this day is such a big deal is because of what Klay means to this organization. And he's been nothing but class, man. We talk about Klay being zero maintenance. Like, people talk about low maintenance all the time. And, Steve Kerr saying he's zero maintenance. And for any basketball player, when you make it to the NBA, there's everybody has their quirks and the things that they need. But Klay Thompson has been somebody I've known as a teammate. And all he wanted to do was just play basketball. He loves this game so much, and he just was an incredible teammate to me and an amazing role model for a franchise.
So take me back to the very beginning. We just had Dorell Wright on, and he was going over how he was the vet. And
man, I heard, man. It's like, D-Wright, you giving away all the juice.
I know. I kind of like that. No, but you were also a part of the team early on, and you came a year after Klay Thompson, and you guys went on a little run, early on. So take me back to the beginning of it, not the championship year. I'm talking about kind of like the come up when you guys knock off
Denver
Nuggets, and you almost knock off the San Antonio Spurs, and just the ascension of Klay and Steph and Dre and Harrison and yourself and all those guys on that team. What was it like being a part of that?
One thing I definitely agree with you, right? Klay didn't speak a lot, but when he did speak, it was always something like heartfelt. And I remember myself as a rookie, just coming to this new city and, trying to figure things out. And Klay invites us, all the rookies, over to his house. Like I said, he didn't speak a lot, but you could tell he cares, right? And, he had a chef cooking for us, and we were kicking it. And it's just the building of that community, building of that friendship. And for years, people always asked me, even after I retired, who are you so close to? I said, Klay, because, I've gotten to see him through the whole journey. I was there when one of the defensive coaches, Dan Ehrman, challenged Klay. So did Mark Jackson. They challenged Klay, saying, listen, if you want to be the best two guard in the league, you got to play defense. And Klay turned out to be one of the best defenders in the NBA because of his competitive spirit, his drive. I watched him guard Kyrie for us to win a championship. I got to watch him to guard all the guards, like Chris Paul, all those things. You talk about the domination of the Warriors versus the Clippers. Well, that was the ascension of Klay Thompson's defense as well, right? That he had to guard all the tough matchups and then come to the other end and hit shots. So, all those things, for a long time, I didn't even think he got tired because of, how competitive he was and how much he wanted to come out there and help the team win. So there's this amazing confidence that I had knowing that I had these two guys in Steph and Klay, and what they did for the game and how they felt about the game and how they wanted to hit shots.
Fezzi, you bring up his defense and becoming one of the best two-way players in the league, guarding James Harden and Kyrie and Damian Lillard. The list goes on and on and on. Did you underestimate his killer instinct when you first met him? Because you mentioned how he was quiet, and D. Wright mentions how he's quiet. But one thing I'm learning, even as he's a Dallas Maverick, is that his competitive fire is as high as Stephen Curry's and Draymond Green's. He's a killer. He wants to win. Did you underestimate that when you first got to know Klay?
Nah, for sure, because he's so quiet. You just you would never expect it from him. But I remember my first conversation. This is when I was one of our fresh practices. As rookies, we had to practice before Summer League back then. So all the vets were gone. And I remember talking to Charles Jenkins back then, who was one of my point guards. And I was like, man, he was talking about how there's these two guards that really shoot the crap out of the ball. Obviously, I knew Steph from watching him at Davidson, so I knew he could really shoot the three. But he was like, man, I hope you're ready to watch this in practice because there's another guy over here that goes insane from the three-point line. I was like, what? Wait, which one of them is better? He's like, man, you just got to watch and see it in practice. And honestly, I got to see it every day in practice. Even when they work out, after practice, guys go get extra shots up. And Klay is on one side, Steph is on the other side. And I always used to wonder if they were looking over their shoulders because the way they were hitting shots was almost like they were competing with each other. You know what I mean? So I always wondered in my mind, like in an alternate reality, if they all had to be on their separate teams, are they as good without each other supporting each other? You know, so I think there's something to be said about that. When Mark Jackson came out and said in 2013, this is the best shooting backcourt in the history of the NBA, everybody thought he was crazy. But we saw it every day in practice. It wasn't just like, he just came out and said, this is a guy who's, Mark Jackson had played basketball. He's been around basketball his whole life. Like, he understands. He played with greats. And he said it because he saw these guys and he saw the competitive edge. And he had, he just had so much faith in these guys. And we all did. So I am really excited today because of what Klay means to me personally. But I'm excited for the organization to show Klay some love because he definitely deserves it.
What does he mean to you personally? I mean, I'll give you time to think about it. Like I was thinking about, today's my brother's birthday, for example, and how he's evolved over the last, 12, 15 years. And you've known Klay since he was 21, 22 years old, and you've seen him evolve over the years. What does it mean to you? What does he mean to you?
I'll start off by saying, what I've seen from Klay is somebody who is, for someone who's a superstar, he is not, he's very, very, he's calm is not the word. He's very, I'll go back to the zero maintenance thing. Somebody that he doesn't need much, man. He's such a simple guy. When you watch Klay speak, you really don't have to do too much to understand what he's trying to say. He'll usually, more than what most basketball players will do, he will tell you what's going on in his mind and his heart. And I feel like he got a lot of flack for it last year. I'm like, dude, y'all not understand. This dude is, really a genuine person. But what he means to me personally, I just say this summer was huge, right? I do a camp every year. My nonprofit, we do work in Africa every summer. And Klay has seen me do it the past couple of years, and he came to me and said he wants to come. And I'm like, people say it all the time, and a lot of players say it to me all the time. But Klay Thompson, in the middle of one of the biggest summers of his career, he decides, you know what? I'm not going to go on vacation. He cancels his vacation because I told him what the dates were, and he was like, I'm coming. And for him to be there and to watch the way the whole country in Cameroon and the kids responded to him, it was insane. I feel like the whole country got turned upside down because Klay came there. And we were trying to keep it under wraps. And, some kids took pictures of Klay because he was so excited to be out there on the court. He's out there playing one-on-one with the kids. They're so excited. He's playing if they're playing with their hero. Kids are crying. They meet people grown men are crying. I couldn't believe that I would meet Klay Thompson in my small city. And you would never hear this from him, right? Because all the good work that he does, that's not what he does. He doesn't come out there. I would be the person to come out there and tell you what Klay Thompson has done. So, for me to experience the whole summer with him, to see the way people reacted to him, to see the way he was giving back to the community, when he gave back to the charity and to everything we're doing over there, it was really a special moment for, not just for me, for the people in Cameroon. And I'm really excited to know that our friendship means so much that he decided to trust me with a trip like that, because that's a big deal,
Festus Ezeli here on the Monta Ross on 95.7 The Game, the River Islands guest line. Do you think that trip to Cameroon and out there in Africa, so we were watching your stories, and he looked like he was at such ease with this decision to move on to go to the Dallas Mavericks. Do you think did you get the same sense that when he was out there and he's seeing the kids crying, he's playing one-on-one with these guys, do you think that he was finally like, you know what? It's okay. Life is good. Life moves on here. Do you think he was at ease on that trip, or did that help him just kind of come to peace and come to grips with what happened over the last couple of years with the Golden State Warriors?
Yeah, no, obviously the last couple of years were tough. Watching him in Cameroon, the simplicity of everything over there, he was so it was perspective changing for him, and it is for all of us. Right? If you get to see people having so much fun and really loving life, just having the bare basics, it changes your perspective. And Klay came out there and he was, watching these kids playing in flip-flops, kids playing soccer in the mud, barefooted. And he was like, man, what do we really have to complain about? These are his words. Like it was like, man, he's like, I really am making it a point to come out this next year to play with joy. I'm not, all this stuff. It's a fresh new start in Dallas, and I'm excited to come out there and help my team win. At the end of the day, he's an athlete and he's a competitor and he wants to win. But he's like, man, like I feel like some of these things are distractions and it takes you away from what we really play for, which is the joy of the game. So that was, I mean, you even saw pictures of, first of all, I didn't know Klay could dance. So you saw videos. I knew Klay for 10, 13 years before this. I never saw Klay dancing, but that was just a depiction, like another example of the joy, the free spirit, that he was going to bring into his new situation in Dallas.
Festus, when former teammates get together, there was a high school my dad went to. They were celebrating their 75th anniversary or 75th reunion for a baseball team, and they were talking about how they won the championship, and all these OGs are coming together, and they're trading war stories, and they got all these different moments. And I love hearing the players talk because it's never like the championship game. It's always something else. It could be a loss. You're on the road somewhere. Maybe it's the bus trip. Like there's always these moments that get brought up. When you and Klay are together, if you feel inclined so, like what's the game? What's the moment that you guys bring up that maybe the fans wouldn't have at the forefront of a memory?
Man, I always used to wonder because like there was a moment before the NBA Finals, and I was trying to figure out if he remembered this. There was a moment right the night before the first NBA Finals in 2015, and it was like the night before, and I couldn't sleep personally, so I'm tossing and turning. Cause I'm like, man, I can't believe I'm here in the NBA Finals. I was just the kid at 16 years old that got cut in high school, and I just came from Africa, and I didn't know how to play back then, and now I made it to the NBA. The story keeps going. I'm in the NBA Finals, and I remember tossing and turning. It's 2:00 in the morning. We got practice at like 9 to go shoot around at 9 or whatever. And it's 3:00 in the morning, and I think somebody texted in the group chat for the team. Is anybody still up? And the text message chain goes off. Everybody's everybody's texting like we're all up and we're all excited to go to this game. That's one of my favorite memories. Something that people don't get to experience, right? Because you just see guys come out there, we play the game, but we're human. We have all these human emotions. And to know that, this thing really stuck out to other guys on the team at the time. And there's other memories, like we just talking, reminisced about times on the court, good times. I talked about his first game coming back after the 2 injuries and how much it meant to me personally because injuries cut my career short and how I was there. I was watching him rehab. I was, around him at that time. So it meant so much to me because I felt like I was praying and willing Klay to get back on the court. So when he got back on the court that day, I cried. I posted a picture of the video on my Instagram of his first day back on the court after those injuries and how the crowd goes crazy. If you go listen to it, it gives me chills till right now. Like, I watch it over and over and over. It's really amazing to see the love we have for Klay, and I'm really excited for everybody to continue to give him that because I feel like last year we lost a little perspective as a fandom, like not even just the word, I'm saying just the basketball world in general. It's like, man, this dude for the second half of the season last year, he averaged 18 points a game, was shooting, what was it?
43%, 43% Fezzi from 3-point
line. So it's really insane. Like that number right there, those numbers are a max contract for people right now. And people take these things for granted. But I only say this to say, like, listen, it's the same thing for if you think about Steph or Draymond. Like, these people and these talents that we have here in Golden State, I feel like we should never take these things for granted because you could blink an eye and everything will be gone, like, because time will pass. So I hope we're appreciating the time that we get to experience right now. Some special moments being a Golden State Warrior player and fan.
I'm thinking about, man, well said, Fezzi. Just awesome stuff here. And I'm thinking about the game winner in Indiana. We hit the fadeaway. Mark Jackson ISO'd him. I'm thinking about you being a fan during Game 6 in Oklahoma City where I thought, boy, 73-9, this is going to end in Oklahoma City. And Klay sets a playoff record. I'm watching you on the sideline going crazy, jumping up and down as you guys rally and send that game to a Game 7. So many memories. And, Fezzi, you said it. You're spot on. I think tonight will be a love fest for Klay Thompson. He's built a great legacy here. He's an all-time Warrior. He's an all-time NBA player, and I can't wait for him to get his love out there in the arena. I can't wait to see you later on tonight, too, because you're so close with Klay Thompson, man. Great stories, Fezzy.
So, of course, man, one of the best two guards in the league, no question about it. He was elite on both ends of the floor. You know, we could talk about 37 in the quarter or 60 points on 11 dribbles, which, by the way, you know, I was talking about smack. I'm like, yo, I need you to get, 30 on, 2 dribbles. But, you know, obviously, you know, when you come back to play against your former team, you want to have a great game. And, you know, like you said, you either have a great game or the worst game of your career. So those are things you always want to play well. It's going to be really cool to see everybody wearing the Klay Thompson cap and Klay hat. All these things are just all the reasons why we love Klay.
Fezzy, is he coming in on the boat? Is he going to do a one, or he got rid of the boat, right?
I doubt it.
Yeah.
I doubt he's coming in on a boat. But if he does, it would be very, very nostalgic for everybody to see him ride in on the bike. But where do you park the bike if you're a visitor?
Yeah, that's a good point. You might get ejected here in this city, man. You don't want to leave that bike nowhere in this city. They'll pick the lot quick in San Francisco, man. There's no doubt about that. Hey, Fezzy, I'll see you on later tonight, man. Can't wait to do it. Klay Day, and it's good to have you on these airwaves.
Welcome back, Klay. Bonta, my point guard, Shasky. Thank you guys for having me.
Have a great day, buddy.
Man. Great perspective there from Festus Ezeli. Great story time. Now let's bring in an NBA champ, one of my favorite sitters here with the Warriors. He's as cool as they come. And let me tell you, when it comes to fashion, I don't think anybody dresses better than Zaza Pachulia. I really don't, man. He's got the swag. He joins us on the River Islands guest line. All guests on 95.7 The Game appear on the River Islands guest line. Is it a time for you to discover the islands, River Islands in Lathrop? Zaza, Mr. Nothing Easy Pachulia. What's up, my man? Good morning.
Good morning. Top of the morning to you guys. How we doing?
Oh, we're doing good, man. We're happy that this day finally came, and I'm happy that Klay's going to receive the love that he deserves, as he's a four-time champ, of course, one of the most iconic Warriors we've ever seen. But Zaza, when you came over in free agency, you became a member of the Golden State Warriors. As fans, we all noticed that you and Klay clicked right away. Right away. What was it about Klay when you joined the Golden State Warriors, when you first met him? Why did you guys click so well?
Well, his unique personality, Bonta. He's so authentic. You know, sometimes, you're going to see, you ask him questions and he's going to respond total different answer. Nothing has to do with the question, right? Sometimes he's going to be later in practices. Sometimes he missed the practices, and then next day he dropped 60, right? So my thing is he's so authentic. He's not playing. He's pure. He's pure heart. I just love that guy. And he's a professional. He loves the game. He's always takes it seriously. That's the type of teammate you want to have. And of course, my personal side, Bonta, for the big man, it's important to have a great shooters. And, he would make me look good out there with me setting the screens for him. And he would just make those threes. That bond came right away. So love the guy. He's awesome. And then I'm so excited for him actually tonight. He's going to come play first time at Chase. It's not going to be easy, as Big Zaza says, nothing easy. Yeah. But, it's going to be very emotional, I'm pretty sure, even though he sounded pretty calm at the interview after the last game. But, I'm excited for tonight because we're going to show him everyone from the Warriors, employees to his old teammates to Dub Nation. We're all going to show him love that he deserves, and it's going to be a celebration.
What was something that surprised you when you met him as a teammate and you got to know him on the court, off the court, personality-wise, demeanor? Because I think, from afar, we learn so much more when we work with someone every single day. And from afar, we can make judgments that are completely wrong. What was something that maybe you learned about him?
Well, we all have our own personalities, right? And, one thing actually that shocked me was how shy he is actually off the court. There was something you expected from the probably rookie or youngster, but, he was already late 20s, and how shy he was after experiencing all on and off the court. He was pretty shy. So that was kind of surprising. But But like I said, we all have, strengths and weaknesses. I don't want to call it weakness to be shy, but like I'm pretty sure he would have enjoyed more off the court life if he was not as shy.
What is something that fans don't know enough about Klay Thompson, other than being shy? Or actually, no, but let's switch that up. What did you know about Klay when he embraced his stardom in the latter half of his, because all of a sudden he becomes a shy guy, Zaza, he's a champion, but all of a sudden we start seeing his personality. Toaster Klay, China Klay, he's going on tour, China, having a lot of fun. The scaffolding Klay in New York City. What did you notice about him once he embraced his stardom in the latter half of his career with the Golden State Warriors?
Yeah, I mean, he was not. He just doesn't know how to play the games. He doesn't play games. Just like whatever this high authenticity, the word used. I mean, that to me, if somebody asked me like to describe the Klay with one word, that's the word I would use, right? So, and he has the personality too, and he has a sense of humor as well. And when you combine, I think it's a great combination of values and characteristics he has, Monta, and then he's so caring when he comes to. He's a winner. I'm telling you, when I was playing, I didn't have to worry about Klay missing games, or there were a couple of times he got hit or he fell on the floor pretty bad. I knew he was going to get up and kept playing, and he was not going to leave the court. So. And there was a trust factor on the court as well. I mean, you knew he was going to give you his 100%. And I mean, to be loved this much as he is, and of course we have Steph and Draymond as well. But since we're talking about the Klay, it doesn't come that easy, And it's constant every day proving the fans that you're there to represent them. You're there to get them to win and make them proud. And I think for those 13 years, he did it. He did it in the best ways possible. Mm-hmm. Always a pro, always was caring and loved, appreciated, the support from outside. And, when you bring all these things together, Monta, that's what then, you put yourself in a situation where you're going to get a statue, you're going to get never retired, you're going to get the love that he's going to get tonight, and you'll be missed. You'll be never forget him.
Zaza, I feel like nobody's been able to kind of like pin him down in terms of his outside interest. And we know he's got the boat, right? And we know he'll do the tours in China and whatnot.
Well, it's hiking, Shasky.
If he wasn't a basketball player and you had to guess, what do you think he would have done?
Oh, that's a good question. I think actually when he got injured, and, him and I, we were talking a lot and kind of brainstorming. So I could tell he was getting bored, right, without basketball. And, that was, rehab and et cetera. But, he wanted some activities, some action. And, him and I, we were talking about, like, says, Klay, what do you want to do? Like, what would you be passionate about besides basketball? So, first thing came out with video games, if you guys remember. So maybe he was going to be a 2K player. Who knows? But that's the first thing came out. Like, so how about like me getting into the video games? That way I don't have to move around. And he got into it. And it seems like, he enjoyed it for a minute. I don't think he plays as much as he used to when he was the hurt and going through the rehab. But maybe still being the sports because love of the game he has, and now love of the sports overall he has. He's pretty good a golfer as well. He watches baseball, obviously because of his brother. He watches football as well. I've seen him, throwing some passes during the practices or after the practices. So with the football, not the basketball, with the football. So you could tell he's an athlete, so for sure he was going to do some kind of sports.
Festus just joined us, and he said he was shocked at Klay's dance moves. Now, have you ever got out in Klay, and can you attest, to what Festus just said, that Klay Thompson can actually boogie on the dance floor?
Oh, yeah. Actually, it's funny you saying about that. I remember in Cleveland when we won the 2017 championship, we were together. Obviously, we were spread out, throughout the Northern Steakhouse restaurant that we shut it down. It was a lot of people. But, Klay and Klay's family, my family, we were right next to each other. So I remember we had this circle, and every person had to go in the circle and show their moves. Don't ask me about my moves. It was horrible, but maybe not. But, I remember the Klay brought some surprise. The Klay surprised lots of people, so he can definitely dance.
How hard is this for the guys on the team, though, like Steph and Dre today? Because I think we keep saying it's going to be hard for Klay, and it is. Right. But how hard is it for some of those guys as well? Like, you got to play a basketball game, but also you do care about this individual. How difficult is it from the Warrior perspective?
Well, that's a professional, Shasky. These guys not young. They've been through a lot. And, of course, there are so many players who were part of this, dynasty and part of the success in championship years, and the last came back, and luckily and gratefully I was the one who got amazing love when I got my ring, when I came with the Detroit. And, those are the days and moments and, seconds that you're never going to forget. Very emotional. But, Klay's in a different boat. I mean, it's different level, let's be honest. I think these guys have some kind of experience, but like this magnitude, for someone like Klay Thompson to come back and just to treat him as an opponent and play the game, I'm sure it's not going to be that easy for our guys, even for Coach Kerr, right? Can you imagine always being in your team and you draw the plays for him, you're thinking about how to get Klay the open shots and the good quality shots, and now you have to guard him and you have to think about how to defend this guy. So it's not going to be a normal day, I'm pretty sure, but at the end of the day, we are professionals. Expectation is for us to go out there and perform and try to get a win. Our team has been playing really, really well. Amazing road trip we had. And we want to, keep going, keep rolling, because we talked about at the beginning of the season how important it is to have a great start, that way we can build on it. And, last year, for example, where we're trying to, make it and, get in the picture just didn't work as well. There's so many good teams, so many talented players out there. So we talk about have a good start. So, we're going to try to win today's game. And by the same time, I think that before the game, from the point where Bob's going to enter in the Chase Center, the way Klay's going to be, we're going to show him lots of love. And, even during the game, we're going to salute the Klay. Obviously, we have some surprises, and we got some moments for him to really celebrate, and, fans show the appreciation to this guy, what he has done to this franchise and to this city.
Zaza Pachulia, Warriors front office assistant here on the Morning Ross on 95.7 The Game, courtesy of the River Islands Guest Line. A couple more for you, Zaza. What was it like for you? Because I know you played in Orlando, Milwaukee, Atlanta, but you spent a long time in the ATL. What was it like going back to Atlanta when you're a member of the Milwaukee Bucks, going back for the first time to the ATL after you had some iconic moments? Of course, nothing easy came from Atlanta as you took the Celtics to 7 games. What was it like going back to Atlanta for the first time as an opponent?
It was brutal, Bonta. It was very difficult, probably the hardest moment I remember. I'm never going to forget it, those couple days, actually. And, by the way, every player is taking that kind of moment differently. For some of them motivates and, they drop 30, 40, 50. Some amazing players actually show up and, end up with a single digit, in scoring. My situation was I was very nervous. I was very excited. And for some reason, we ended up in Atlanta 2 nights before the game because we were on a road trip. And I remember I had 0 sleep in those 48 hours. Wow. 0. I couldn't sleep. It was so emotional, with entering in the arena and, starting with ushers. And, 8 years is like half of my NBA career. Mm-hmm. So you can imagine the attachment and, relationships and, feeling I have towards that city and every single employee and every single player. So it was very difficult. And I remember I had, pretty rough game and going back to airport after the game. And as soon as I sat on my seat on the plane, I just crashed it. I fall asleep right away. Because I was exhausted. I was exhausted emotionally. I was exhausted. My feelings were all over the place. And I was just glad it was over. But it was just me. Like I said, different players say different. There's nothing right or wrong. I mean, I don't think any player should be judged because of the performance, right? Yeah, so you're not part of the organization anymore. You're not part of the team. It's very difficult moments, and you should not be judging anyone until you get to the situation because, like I say, different people react different ways.
How difficult was it for you? I mean, you're not going to speak on behalf of Klay, but just navigating all of this, new team, coming back home, like all of that stuff with your family, right? You've seen things said online, seen things at podiums, and they have their feelings and they want to speak on your behalf. And I know he doesn't have a wife and kids, but that doesn't mean he doesn't have an extended family like his brothers and his dad and his mom and all that stuff. How difficult was it for you to navigate the family aspect of all of this?
Jesse, one thing helped me actually in those kind of situations that I'm not sad it's over. I'm glad it happened. And, I always look at it that way, right? Where we're lucky and we're grateful to be experiencing what we experience. And, we're grateful for the people who showed us some love, especially someone being from different country overseas. It felt like home. And that feeling was because of the people you were surrounded with. So you're should be very grateful for that. But at the same time, life goes on. Life is beautiful. Life is great. And, for Klay, he's still playing for an amazing franchise for Dallas Mavericks. And I'm very familiar with the franchise. I played there before I joined the Warriors. Mm-hmm. He's in great hands. I know J. Kidd really well. I know his coaching staff. I know Luka, from playing against each other in European championships. So he's in a great situation, and he has no reason not to be happy, right? And he should be grateful. That's how we should look at it. That's why I don't want to, be sad about it. But I just want to celebrate and thank him for everything he has done for this franchise. And I always say that with you guys in previous interviews, one of the reasons I love this game of, basketball is because of the friendships. And we're still friends, no matter what. Yes, during the 48 minutes, we're going to try to beat each other and, win the game. But after the game, it's a friendship. I still talk to him. I talked to him last night, right? So the friendship is the most powerful thing and most important thing. I don't know, because I'm only child and I grew up surrounded with amazing friends, but I'm pretty sure it's the same for you guys. Like, friendship is so valuable, and that's why I love this game. So, friendship is forever. Yeah, the ball's going to stop bouncing at some point, obviously. For some people, if they're lucky, they're going to play until 40. For some people, it ends early, but it doesn't matter. We have so much more, life to live, and, nothing better than to live with amazing friends.
Well, we can't wait for tonight, man. It's going to be emotional. All 18,000-plus fans get a Captain Klay hat. At one point, they're going to all take their hats off, the Captain Klay hat, to salute Klay Thompson. A great video tribute. Steph Curry's going to speak, and there's going to be many, many more surprises, as Zaza Pachulia just teased here on the Morning Roast. Zaza, I can't wait to see you later. And as you just said, it's a celebration of Klay Thompson. Nothing to be sad about. Life does move on, and we hope the best for him. But the Warriors are rolling right now, and they need to win 8-2 through the first 10 games, coming off that great road trip. Zaza, you're the man. Always love talking to you, man, here on the Roast. See you later, buddy.
See you guys tonight.
All right, Zaza.